Back in the early 2000s, Caterpillar diesel engines were the heart and soul of the American highway. Models like the C-15 and the 3406E weren't just engines, they were legends. These powerhouses earned the love of drivers, the respect of mechanics, and the trust of fleets around the world. Their performance, sound, and reliability made them a top choice. Cat-powered trucks ruled the roads, and seeing that bold yellow badge meant business. But then, without warning, everything changed. Caterpillar suddenly announced they were leaving the highway engine business. People were stunned. How could such a strong name just walk away? To understand the fall, we've got to talk about emissions. Around 2007 and again in 2010, strict new rules were introduced. These were not minor tweaks, this was a total change in how diesel engines had to work. Engines had to release much less nitrogen oxide and particulate matter. Truck makers had two options: either change how their engines ran or get left behind. Companies like Cummins and Detroit Diesel began using tech like EGR, exhaust gas recirculation, and SCR, selective catalytic reduction. These systems helped clean emissions but came with their own challenges. Still, they worked and kept trucks legal. Caterpillar didn't like those options. Instead of copying what others were doing, they tried something different. They built a new system called ACERT, Advanced Combustion Emissions Reduction Technology. It was bold and unique, and Cat hoped it would help them meet new emission standards without needing DEF, diesel exhaust fluid. On paper, it sounded great. But in real life, it was a whole different story. The technology turned out to be complex, hard to maintain, and not very reliable. Drivers started complaining. Mechanics hated working on it. And for fleet owners, it became a maintenance nightmare. The real problem came when ACERT engines were tested in the field. They couldn't consistently pass emissions tests, which meant fines, recalls, and lost trust. The EPA didn't go easy on Cat either. They were hit with big penalties. For a brand that was built on reliability and performance, this was a disaster. Customers were already frustrated with the tech. Now, they had a reason to walk away. Cat's reputation took a hit, and their once loyal fans started choosing other brands. What would you do if faced with huge fines and unhappy customers? Keep fighting or make a hard call? In 2009, Caterpillar made their decision. They announced that by 2010, they would stop making engines for on-road use. It was the end of an era. One of the most powerful names in American diesel trucking had left the building. Many believed it was a sign of weakness, that Cat had failed to keep up. But there's another side to the story. Cat wasn't just giving up. They were making a big move. While other companies were spending millions trying to meet new road rules, Caterpillar decided to focus on what they did best: off-road machines and heavy equipment. Think about it. Cat's real strength was never just trucks. It was mining trucks, bulldozers, oil rigs, and massive construction machines. These vehicles faced far fewer emissions rules and delivered bigger profits. Instead of fighting a losing battle on the highways, Caterpillar doubled down on their real moneymaker. It was a smart business move. With less red tape and more global demand, Cat began dominating industries like mining and infrastructure. They didn't stop building engines, they just stopped building those engines. And with the profits from those markets, they could invest in future technology instead of struggling with old problems. That doesn't mean they walked away from trucking completely. Cat partnered with Navistar to create the CT660, a heavy-duty truck that carried the Cat badge. It was a way to stay in the game, without using their own engines. But something was missing. Without a true Cat engine inside, the heart of the truck didn't feel the same. Sales were underwhelming, and by 2016, the CT660 was discontinued. The final link between Caterpillar and highway trucking was cut. It was official, Cat was out. But if you think they're gone for good, think again. Because the story's not over yet. Behind the scenes, Caterpillar has been quietly working on what could be the future of diesel engines. Rumors are growing that they're developing new hybrid and hydrogen-powered engines. These aren't for your average lorry, at least not yet. They're being designed for off-road use in heavy industries. But if the technology works well, it could easily find its way back to the highway. Imagine a Cat truck that runs on hydrogen or a hybrid engine that beats emissions and keeps that legendary power. It's not impossible. In fact, it might be the comeback story we never expected. So, why did Caterpillar really quit highway engines? It wasn't just about bad technology. It wasn't just about emissions. It was a smart, strategic pivot away from a market that was becoming harder and less profitable. Instead of fighting uphill, they turned toward a future they could control. They didn't lose, they adapted. They evolved. And now, as other companies scramble to meet new climate rules, CAT is building a new future, one that could one day lead them back to our highways. Maybe they'll return with something even more powerful and cleaner than anything we've seen before. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Was it a smart move by Caterpillar to pull out when they did? Or do you miss the roar of a Cat engine on the open road? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you've ever driven a Cat-powered truck, hit that like button. It helps the channel more than you know. Don't forget to subscribe to Truck Couture because next week, we're diving into the rise of Cummins and how they did what Cat couldn't. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep on trucking.